The information, opinions, and statements expressed by guests on this program are solely those of the guest and do not necessarily reflect the views of the host, Check-A-Pro, this station, its management, affiliates, sponsors, or advertisers. This program is intended for general informational and educational purposes only. Results may vary.
For over 150 years, educated investors have profited from investing in government auction real estate at public tax defaulted property auction, usually called tax deed auctions. Most gurus suggest that tax deed investing is an easy way to get rich, but they do not tell you about the costly mistakes to avoid. Ted Thomas changes all of that. Hi, I'm Jim Klauck. My guest, Ted Thomas. He's taught this for more than 30 years, and he wrote a plain English book called Your Startup Guide to Investing in Tax Lien Certificates and Tax Deeds. Today, he'll mail it to you free. I'll give you the number in a few minutes, so keep a pencil handy. Ted, welcome to the program. And before we start, promise my listeners one thing. Today, you'll tell them what can go wrong, not just what can go right.
Jim, that's a promise. Results vary, and anybody that tells you different isn't really realistic. So I'll tell you both sides of the story.
Ted, good. That's why you're here.
First, let's get into the name of the tax lien certificates. I actually call them government revenue certificates, and you'll see why in just a couple of minutes.
All right, Ted, we're at your kitchen table. Start at the beginning. What exactly is a tax lien certificate?
Every county in the United States gets their income from property taxes. The money pays for the police department, the firefighters, the schools, and the school teachers, fix the roads, and pay all the county employees. I didn't make the rules, but the state legislature in the state makes the rules, but that's how the county gets all their money in on a daily basis and pay the bills.
So the county can't skip collecting property taxes and must follow the rules.
You're exactly right. The county has to collect those property taxes, and every single year they do that because the firefighters want to get paid every 2 weeks, just like the rest of us.
Ted, what happens when a property owner doesn't pay property taxes?
Well, it happens all the time in every county across the United States. That's caused by people get sick, death in the family, people move away, divorce, all kinds of things happen that people don't pay their taxes. And when they don't, the government has a problem. They're not collecting those property taxes. So the county, if you didn't pay, or I didn't pay my property tax, they're going to try to find someone else to do it for you. And then they're going to send you the bill for doing all that. They don't call them government revenue certificates. They call them government tax lien certificates. And that's how they get the bills paid. And that's what they sell. They sell a tax lien certificate.
That's the whole intention?
Yeah, exactly. They sell those in every county in about half of the states across the United States. They've been doing this for 200 years. Anybody can buy a tax certificate. You'd have to pay the amount, and then you'll start earning interest on your money.
So, Ted, what you're telling me is a stranger is paying someone else's tax bill. Why on earth would an investor pay their neighbor's tax bill?
You're going to get a big reward if you pay someone else's tax bill. You're going to earn the interest. When you pay your MasterCard or Visa card late, they say, oh, well, you have to pay interest on that money. It's the same thing with taxes. If you pay them late, you have to pay a penalty. You pay an interest rate. Each one of the states has their own interest rate, but they charge interest. Instead of that local county keeping the interest, they let you earn that interest. People want to buy these certificates because they pay outrageous interest rates.
Those outrageous interest rates go to the new investor?
You're the new investor, that's what you get. Places pay 16%, other states allow 18%, and all the way up to 24%. I don't set those rates. The legislature of the state, this is a government administered and run program. The legislature does all that, but the county enforces all that. So you get your tax bill from the treasurer of the county, and that's who you have to pay. But the interest rate, they're not going to keep the interest. They're going to pass that interest on to you because you did them a favor and paid someone else's taxes.
Hold on, Ted. 16, 18, 24% interest? Most savings accounts pay me almost nothing.
That's right. This system is set up so that local people can make local money and get local checks from their counties. I didn't set the rate, so I want to make sure our listeners understand that. The numbers are written into the state law, and then the state law is passed down to the local county. And when the county sells a tax certificate, They don't give you a guarantee, but have it mandated in the law that when that person comes in to pay the tax, they're going to pay you back all the money you invested and up to one of those high interest rates.
All right, Ted, who's allowed to do this? Do you have to qualify? Do you have to fill out an application, show your income?
Anybody can do this. Anybody that has money, there's nothing you have to do except buy the certificate, and then they're going to issue you a piece of paper that says, all right, you own this certificate, and here's how much money you're going to make with this certificate.
So no application.
No applications. The county issues the certificate, and nowadays you can do the whole thing on your computer sitting at your kitchen table.
So you're not buying the house. This is passive and no painting, no cleaning, just passive.
Half of the counties in the United States sell tax lien certificates. The other half are ruthless. They're going to confiscate the property if you don't pay the tax. Everybody knows if they don't pay the taxes, the government could take their property. But half of the states are very benevolent, and they sell these passive tax lien certificates. So if you buy the tax certificate, you don't have to worry about fixing the roof or cutting the grass. You don't have to chase anybody for a payment. You just pay the tax certificate, and then you sit on your rusty dusty and wait for the people to come in and pay the tax. I'll tell you right now, ahead of time, I've been doing this 30 years, 97%, 98% of those people come in and pay the tax. So you get all your money back plus one of those outrageous interest rates.
Does this have to be in my own county?
You can do it in any county you want. There's over 1,500 counties that sell tax lien certificate. So you can do it any county you want, and you can do it online. When I started 30 years ago, we had to drive to the county, but now you can do it online.
Some people never even leave their kitchen.
You can do this from your kitchen table on a laptop computer. Some people like to go down to the county and participate in the auction. They used to do all these live on the courthouse steps. Nowadays, they do it online, so you can buy tax lien certificates in any of the states. Half of the states sell tax lien certificates. The other half of the states, they take the property away from the property owner.
All right, Ted, I have to stop you here. I know my listeners, they've heard guaranteed before, and I'm using air quotes, and some of them have gotten burned. What's actually different here?
Okay, well, it's different, and here's why. This is a government-mandated program. It was created by the state that you live in, wherever you're listening to me. The state pushes the program down so the treasurer, the local people, can run the program. And what the local people do, if they can't collect the tax, they sell a tax lien certificate or they confiscate the property. All right. Now, most of the states where we're broadcasting this are states that sell tax lien certificates. That makes sense. So anybody that wants to buy a tax lien certificate in that state can do that. There's no brokers involved. There's no middlemen involved. You can't give money to me. The money goes directly to the county, and there's no middlemen involved in it. So your money is now protected. But understand, when it's guaranteed, I use the word mandated because in the investment business or the alternative investment business, you don't want to use that word guarantee because the federal government doesn't like people saying that. But this is mandated by the state how much money you'll get, and it's administered by the local county.
That's the whole difference?
It's a county-run program. It's been around for 200 years, and unfortunately, people don't know about it. And that's why I've taken the last 30 years to tell people about it. And now we're testing on radio to see if we can find audiences of adult people that have money that want a conservative investment.
So your money goes to the county and your check comes from the county.
Exactly. So you haven't given any money to Ted Thomas. So you don't have to worry about your money, okay? So now, once we buy that, that's the most unbelievable thing we're going to say. You give the money to the government, you get the money back from the government. It's been around a long time. This program's been going since we had the first president of the United States, over 200 years. Just done the same thing. Every county started in Virginia over 200 years ago.
All right, Ted, I'm getting excited. This is the part you can check yourself out, folks. Your own courthouse, not a website with a countdown clock on it.
That's exactly right, Jim. They could call the treasurer of the county. Let's say they were in Harris County and in Houston, Texas. And they call the treasurer, and the treasurer would tell them exactly right. And I'll explain that later on in this program, how it works in Harris County, so you know how to do it if you're listening in that county.
Okay, before we go one step further, I know some of you are already reaching for a pencil, so let's take care of you. Ted wrote the book on this, Your Startup Guide to Investing in Tax Lien Certificates and Tax Deeds. It's a real book. I've actually got the book. Ted sent one to me. Real chapters, plain English. It explains what a tax lien certificate is, what a tax defaulted property is, why the county has to have the money every year, and what the interest rates are mandated by the state. It covers the mistakes beginners make. Later this hour, Ted's going to walk through each mistake one by one. He promised.
Folks, it's not a brochure. It's an educational book. It's 8.5 by 11. It's got over 100 pages, and it'll take you about 2 hours to go through it. As you're going through it, you'll see illustrations of what we do. There's nothing that a person that they only got to the 8th grade to be able to read this book. It's that easy.
The free book is designed to educate beginner investors who are interested in learning one of the safest investments in America today.
I promised my listeners that I'd be giving out Ted's number. Here it is. To get your free copy of Ted's book, call 767-8366. I'll be giving out the phone number again shortly. The book is absolutely free. When Ted answers, leave your name, your mailing address, and phone number, and Ted will mail the book directly to you. The book will be shipped via USPS. Priority mail with tracking.
So one more thing I'd like to. When we say tracking, we're going to call you and give you the tracking number so you'll know when it comes. If you're getting it far away from our office, it might take 4 or 5 days, but we'll give you a tracking number so you can check on it while it's headed your way.
Ted, if somebody reads the book and wants to try this, what does it actually take to get started?
Well, to get started, you're going to have to make a few phone calls, or you can do it all online if you wanted to. So let's say you did it all online. You could pull up the county website, and you could find the list of the certificates that are available. Once you found the list, you could choose one that you wanted to buy, and you're not going to buy one that costs $100,000. You're going to start small. Let's find one that only costs $500, because that's a good place to start. And you don't want to get into your nest egg because you've never done this before. Let's learn by investing $500. You want to invest the $500 right with your local county. You learn to swim on the shallow end of the pool. Let's start out with $500. It's teaching you the system. You learn how to do it. You're going to see your money safe and secure. You'll see that 97, maybe 98% of the people come in and pay right away. If they come in and pay, then you get paid and you make interest and you get it from the county.
What happens if the homeowner never pays their property tax?
Well, that's a big worry. Everybody said, oh my goodness, what am I going to do? Well, what happens is when you bought the certificate, you just paid for the county's position in the property. The county actually can take over a property if no taxes are paid. So the tax certificate is secured. What do I mean secured? The tax certificate is secured by the property. So if you don't get paid, you would get the property. You'll want the property because it would be rare that the property wouldn't be worth a lot more than that tax certificate, because taxes are only 1% of property.
The property becomes yours for only the back taxes you paid. That's incredible.
So that's another big surprise. You were surprised before that you didn't give money to a middleman or something like that. Now it's going to get better, because now if you didn't get paid, you're going to get the property. Now, I don't want you to think that this is about buying property. This is about buying tax lien certificates. If I were teaching the same course in a state that sold property, I'd teach you how to do that. But this is about buying tax lien certificates. Okay, so you're going to be rewarded by earning interest on your money, or if they didn't pay you, you'll get rewarded by owning the property. I didn't make these rules. These rules have been in effect for over 200 years, and it's right under your nose. It's been going on in your county since the day it became a county.
So the tax lien certificate is backed by the property.
Exactly. So you don't get paid, you get the property.
Now, some of my listeners, Ted, are already thinking, Jim, I don't want a stranger's house.
Can you blame them? But what we're going to teach you to do is, if you didn't want that house, it's okay. You bought it at such a cheap price that you could sell it, because taxes are only 1 or 2% of the value. So the house is probably worth thousands of dollars, or maybe it's a residential lot, but you now would be the owner of that house. You could sell it. You could call up Zillow, or you could call up a real estate broker and sell it. It wouldn't be difficult to sell it because you own it for such a low price. And when you own it, it won't have any mortgage on it.
And the other kind?
Well, the other kind is simply this. You're going to get the property, so you'd go about selling it. There's two kinds of people. One person wants to earn interest. Okay, that's viable. The other person wants to buy the property. All right, so we're going to teach you how to buy. To get started, we're going to teach you how to make interest. Later on, before we finish this hour we're going to be together, I'm going to show you examples of both actual people that are well over 50 years old doing exactly what we're talking about today, so that you know how real this is.
Ted, hold on a second. If there's a mortgage on that house, which is quite likely, where am I standing in line as a lien holder? Behind the bank?
Actually, everybody worries about the liens on the property, and that's what you should worry about. So you're wise when you ask that question. No, the tax lien is always the first lien on the property. Before there was ever a property there was a tax on that empty lot. And that's the first lien on the property. That lien is the county lien. That lien is ahead of the IRS, the head of a bank, the head of any judgment or lien that was on the property. Now you have the number one position on that property, and you could wipe out the mortgage. With exceptions like there could be a lien on the property from a federal government. It's an IRS lien. We can show you how to buy without IRS liens on it. Those liens could stay on the property, but you're going to buy a property without liens that are going to keep you from selling the property.
That's the sentence that made me sit up when I read the book, folks. The taxes come first. The tax lien is always the first priority lien.
That's right. Okay, so I know if you're listening, you're a little nervous about that, but I've taught this for 30 years, and I'm going to show you actual examples. Matter of fact, why don't we just stop and we'll do it right now, because I understand a person would be concerned. So what I did when I was making infomercials for television, I asked an attorney to come on, and I'm going to let you listen to him tell you about that right now. He's going to tell you how this program is set up by the government and how you buy properties the way we just talked about.
This would work for you too.
The producers of this show said this sounds almost too good to be true, and they wanted to get an outside opinion from an attorney. So we contacted real estate expert, attorney, and the author of the New York Times bestseller, How Come That Idiot's Rich and I'm Not? Welcome now, Robert Sheeman. Thank you so much for joining us today.
Lynn, it's a pleasure to be here with you.
Now, Robert, Ted Thomas has been telling us about tax certificate investing and how it is a government-backed program and totally legal. And we wanted to verify with an outside legal and real estate expert like yourselves that what Ted is saying is true.
Well, it's not only for real, and it's not only absolutely true, but it's legal and it's statutory. It's not just out there as some investment. This is backed, approved, and written by state governments. This is how the governments collect their tax money when people don't pay their property taxes.
So is it safe to say that this is not a far-fetched get-rich-quick scheme and that tax certificates are a predictable, certain, and secure investment that is government-sponsored and backed up by property tax laws in each state?
That's right. They occur everywhere. Wherever there's a property tax to be collected, they're legal, they work, the returns can be absolutely fantastic, and this is all for real.
Robert, thank you so much for taking the time to join us today and sharing your expertise.
Let me make sure I have the picture. If I have it, my listeners have it. The county must collect property taxes every year. When an owner doesn't pay, the county sells a certificate at auction. I buy the certificate, my money pays that tax bill, I receive a tax lien certificate, and then one of two things happen. The delinquent owner pays the taxes, or the defaulting owner never pays and the property becomes mine. My money went to the county, never to Ted Thomas.
Nice, you got it nailed down. So anybody that heard what you just said, now you understand. We're doing this quickly on the radio, but in the book, it walks you through it and shows you step by step. So you certainly have the idea. All right, so now the people need to get their pencil out and write the phone number down.
The free book is a guide to help you earn tax lien certificates and earning 16, 18, and 24%. It's also dedicated to teaching tax defaulted property auctions, where real estate is auctioned with starting bids of only 20 and 25 cents on the dollar. These properties are auctioned with no mortgage or deed of trust loan.
To get your free copy of Ted's book, call 877-767-8366. The book is absolutely free. 877-767-8366. Leave your name, mailing address, and phone number, and Ted will mail the book directly to you. The book will be shipped USPS Priority Mail with tracking. I'm Jim Klauck, and my guest for the full hour is Ted Thomas. By state law, every county must collect property taxes. When the property owner doesn't pay, the county sells at auction a tax lien certificate. You buy direct from the county. Your money pays someone else's delinquent tax bill, and by state law, you either get paid back all the money you invested plus interest, or the property becomes yours. There's no middleman or brokers involved. Your investment money goes directly to the county, not to Ted, not anywhere else, just to the county. His free book explains all of it. Ted, who actually does this? Paint me the picture of your students.
A lot of people actually do this, and most of the people are senior citizens. I'm going to give you a picture of some of these students, and you can see more than one of them.
This is perfect for beginners.
I've chosen this as my retirement investment venue. I'm tired of watching stock portfolios and mutual funds go up and down and up and down. So I got online and looked in a lot of different counties to see who paid the highest interest rate, who had the easiest system to actually buy certificates. So I've found this amazing vehicle through Ted's system where you can buy something that's very high return, 18% in my case, and higher, 36% in some cases. The first tax liens I bought 3 of them for $2,273. I wanted to try it, just see if it was something that was safe and would pay off. I got those certificates in the mail, put them in my drawer, and waited. Next thing I know, months later, I got a check in the mail for $3,159. That was an 18% annual return on my money. It's an amazing world that's opened up to me with this system. And the main thing is I've taken control of it, and I found something very safe with a high return. And I'm going to have enough money for retirement now. I feel confident about that.
So you just saw Piggy Palms, and now I think we'll just go to another one and show you another person doing the same thing. A short intermission here. And I'd like you to notice that this woman bought multiple certificates and she earned different rates of return. So let's listen to Marilyn Martin.
Stocks are volatile. I've lost money in them before. With Ted's program, it's an online program. You buy everything online. I got 48, averaging 9%. Some of them are earning 18%. It's an awesome program. It's a safe, secure way to earn a whole lot better interest rate than the banks are giving you at a 0.5% or 1%. The little guy can do it. You can have a couple of $1,000s and invest. Most of the liens that I purchased were a couple $100, under $1,000. It's a secure program. I wish I had known this years ago.
In my opinion, tax lien certificates are one of the safest investments in America today because the money is protected by the property tax code in each county. The interest rates which you will be paid are mandated by the legislature of the state which is selling or auctioning the tax lien certificate. This is a safe haven.
Here's one from my mailbag. I've got listeners in their 70s saying, Jim, I'm no computer whiz. Am I out?
Definitely you're not out. You're going to find in this program that we're going to show you first, that you can do it on the computer, but that's not a requirement. Every county has a clerk, so they could go to the county and do it. We're going to show you people that are 50 to 85 years old buying tax lien certificates from their local county and how the counties care to this part of the business because these people want to make money and they want to make it in a safe, secure environment. When you go to the county records, the clerks are more than happy to help you out. If you send them an email, they'll answer those, so you can do it online. Most of my students are older people. I say they're 45 to 105.
Tell me what it looked like when you started, Ted, before the internet.
Okay, well, you're right. In the old days, it was easy, but the market was so restricted, only local people, local to the county, could do it. By that, I mean, every county has a county office. They might have a couple of county offices. So we would go to that office and would say, we'd like to buy some tax lien certificates. And they would give us a list. Now you can just type on your computer and they'll show you the list. Then you can pick out any that you want to buy. For example, if you only had $500, you could start with that. But what if you had $25,000 you want to invest? You could put 5 in this one, 7 in that one, whatever, until you had your $25,000 invested. Now they'll all pay back at different times because people will pay their interest at different. They'll pay their tax certificate at different times. Now it's much easier. You can sit at your kitchen table, and we have classes. We teach people to do it. You can't give money to me. You have to give it to the county. You'll go to your bank, and the banker will give them your information, and the bank and the county will do business together. It's as simple as that. You control your money at the bank, and then it goes to the county. And when they pay back, they pay right back to your bank. They'll send you a text and say, we just deposited money in your account. The old days, I had to take my certificate back to the county, and then they would write me a check. But now it's so much easier. It's half the work, and anybody can do it.
So they hand you something at the tax office?
Actually, they do. They hand you a piece of paper, a document, and it just says tax certificate on it, has your name, has the interest rate on it, and has the address of the property. This is a passive investment, so you're never going to go near the property. You'll never talk to the property owner, ever. You only do business directly with the county and the staff that works for the treasurer.
How long did it take to start and finish this?
It depends upon when the people pay their tax. If you paid and bought a certificate today, if that person lets the certificate go for the whole 6 months or a year, then that's when you're going to get paid. You won't get any money until they come in and pay. But in some cases, people come in and pay very quickly, so you're going to get paid very quickly. That's why we recommend people, once you learn it, you'll do multiple certificates. You won't just buy one, because you'll have to wait for the next auction before you can buy another one. So people buy multiples. Most people, once they learn it, they'll do 5 or 10 certificates every time they go to the auction.
The waiting is the job.
You actually just sit on your rusty dusty. It's passive investment. There's no work for you to do except to do your research before you buy. You don't want to buy a property that's a bad or damaged property, and we can show you how to online check where the property is. If you're buying in your local community, you know what the different areas are. But if you decided you were in Florida and you wanted to buy in South Carolina, then you'd probably want to go online and research with Google and know what the property was, or drive up there, tax-deductible vacation, and take a look at South Carolina and look at the ones you want to buy.
We're going to take a short break. We'll be right back right after this.